Okay, it's kind of funny because normally adding is maybe easier than multiplying. But when we talk about fractions, I would say multiplying is easier than our adding. Okay, so I've already talked about adding fractions, and the big idea is always to make sure we have the same bottom, same denominator. Okay, so this is what you've learned in the past, something like this, like 3 over 19 plus 4 over 19 equals 7 over 19. Okay, that's stuff you've learned in the past. Now, how am I going to apply that to this unit when we do rationals? So now you can see I'm involving variables. So this bottom is the number x plus 3. When this bottom is an x plus 3, which is the same value, so I get 16 over x plus 3. Okay, now this one, what am I going to pick on the bottom? What's the biggest number I'm going to go with? 12. Okay, so what will I have to do to the 4? I would have to multiply it by 3. That's how I changed the 4 to a 12, so I changed the top, so 9. This was a 12, so I don't do anything to it, so then I don't do anything to the 1. And I get 10 over 12. Okay, and you might be able to reduce that, right? So if I could divide this by 2 and this by 2. Okay, how do we transfer that over to this question? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to factor this. So it's a difference of squares. Okay, what are all of the factors I need in my bottom? I'm going to have an x plus 3 in the bottom, and I'm going to have an x minus 3 in the bottom as well. Okay, same idea as we just did over here. We needed to pick the bigger one. We needed to pick the 12 because the 4 goes into 12 and the 12 goes into 12. Same idea. Okay, ready? What did I do to this bottom? From this to this, what did I do to the bottom? I times it by a x minus 3. So I'm going to have to do that as well to the top. So it's going to turn into 4x minus 12. Does everyone see where I'm getting that from? I distributed like that. 4x minus 12. Okay, what did I do to this fraction, to the bottom? From here to here, I did nothing. So I'm going to do nothing to the top. Okay, so now let's just simplify it. So there's a few things on the top that can get put together with like terms. So the 4x plus the 5x. Okay, and then it's just going to get left. We're not going to simplify these. That's just our final answer. Okay, so we're actually simplifying. We're not trying to factor. I know this top can be factored, but that's not what we're going to be doing. Okay, next one. If I was to pick a number that I need on the bottom, so there's a 7, there's a 4, I need to pick the same bottom for each. What could I turn them both into? 28. Okay, so if I turned this fraction, so a 7, into a 28, I would have to times it by 4. So I'm also going to times the top by 4. Okay, do you notice that I'm going to times everything by 4? I'm not just timesing the x, I'm doing the whole top is going to get times by 4. Okay, next fraction. This was a 4. What did I do? I turned it into a 28. So what did I do? I times it by 7. Okay, here's where the mistakes happen. You have to think about that number as a negative 7. So negative 7, because it's a subtract. So what are you going to get? You're going to get a subtract 7x and a subtract 21. Okay, so here's where it's a pretty easy spot to make a mistake. I get people who forget the negative sign, the subtraction sign. It's got to go with everything there. Okay? Okay, now we can simplify this. So 4x minus 7x, so I have a negative 3x, and I had a 20 and a minus 21. Okay, so that idea, we're going to go to rationals now, okay? So we had to have a 7 in the bottom and a 4 in the bottom. Okay, what do I all need in my bottom? So just like here on the 28, it's like me saying I had a 7 and a 4 in the bottom. That's what I was doing. So on here, I need to have an x minus 4 in the bottom, and I need an x plus 2 in the bottom. They're different numbers, just like how I had a 4 and a 7 in the bottom. I need this number and that number. Okay, now that we got our common denominator, we're going to ask, what did I do to this fraction on the bottom? So I timesed it by an x plus 2, so I'm going to have to times the top by x plus 2. What did I do to this bottom? This bottom got times by an x minus 4. So I'm going to have to times the top by an x minus 4. Okay, can you try your distribution stuff there? Okay, be careful with that negative. There's going to be a negative 3 going through. See what you can come up with if you distribute it. Okay, so the first one was the 5x plus 10. And then you should have a subtract 3x plus 12. Okay, so I feel like this is, again, kind of the tricky spot where I get some mistakes. The plus 12 there. Okay, what's your final? So you have a 2x plus 22 over that common denominator. Okay, last one on this page. Okay, so I need you to factor everything that you can here on the bottom. So I'll let you do that. Everything I would see here is a simple trinomial method. So factor away. Okay, how did we do? X minus 3, x plus 2, and x plus 4, and x minus 3. We got them? Okay, I gotta think. What do I all want in my denominator? What do I need to include? I'm gonna need an x minus 3 in there. I'm gonna need an x plus 2, and I'm gonna need an x plus 4. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat another x minus 3 because I don't need to. So here's what I'm kind of thinking. Does this number fit in there? Yes. Does this number fit in there? Yes. Okay. I can fit it in there. I can fit it in there. Okay. Looking at this one, what did I change on the bottom? So from here to here, what happened? It got multiplied by a x plus 4. So I'm going to write on the top here, I got to multiply that by x plus 4. That's what's missing. Okay. Looking at this fraction, what did I do to this fraction to get to this fraction, bottom? So the missing piece that I did was the x plus 2. So I'm going to multiply the top by x plus 2. Okay, I need you to distribute this now. So this would be 2x plus 8. This is a plus sign. So plus 3x and plus 6. Okay, so this is what I was doing. Okay, so my final answer is 5x plus 14 all over, and then I'm writing that out. Okay, one more. Okay, so here's my example. So let's factor the bottom. Okay, so the first fraction, bottom, nothing to do with it. It's just x plus 4. Second fraction. This is one of our styles. Do you know which style it is? Negative out. I don't like having negative with my x. So -1 bracket. So now I can write a positive x. And then the number 4 is now a subtract 4. Okay, and now this one, how will I factor that? That's a style. So this is a difference of squares. Okay, now we have to analyze our common denominator. So what do we all want to put in our denominator? So I need an x plus 4. I need a -1. I'm going to put that in the front there. I need an x minus 4. And then that, it's good. It fits in there. So this, put your finger on it. Like, does this fit in there? Yes. Can you fit this whole thing in there? Yes. Can you fit this in there? Do you see it all? You can fit them in. Okay. Now we go. We multiply. Gotta get my staple out of the way here. So I'm going to think, what am I missing? Okay. So this was an x plus 4. So I'm going to have to multiply it by a -1 and an x minus 4. Okay, next, I had that. So I was missing an x plus 4. So x plus 4. And here I had that, so I'm missing a negative 1. Okay, when I get a situation here that I have 3 things getting multiplied, do you see it? I have 1, 2, 3 things getting multiplied. It doesn't matter the order, you just need to multiply 2 of them first and then by the third. So I'm going to multiply these 2 things together first. And then later I'm going to multiply them by negative 1. Okay, so that is going to turn into, so what do I get here? Multiply that by that. I'm going to get x squared, subtract 4x. See what I did there? Distributed, x squared minus 4x. So now I'm going to also then multiply it by negative 1. So negative x squared plus 4x. Okay, next fraction. Do not forget that you're putting a negative 4 through. When you're multiplying like that, it's a negative 4 going through. So what's that going to come out to be? Negative 4x minus 16. Okay, is that okay? And then this, so I had a plus 6, but then I times it by negative 1, so minus 6. Okay, so altogether I have a negative x squared. If I had a 4x, subtract 4x, I think that would disappear, right? That would become 0. And then a minus 16 minus 6 can go together. Okay, just a side note here. I see this sometimes. If I see this, it's a communication error because this is telling me you're subtracting something. I would like it communicated that I'm saying timesing by negative 1, not subtracting negative 1 or subtracting 1. Okay, so make sure that you're making me understand what you're doing in your communication, that you're multiplying by negative 1.